What's going on, YouTube? It's Q back here again with another video for you. In today's video, I'm here with the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon X, and this is the two-door. Does the Wrangler really need an introduction? If you don't know what one of these are by now, you must not be from the States, or you've been living under a rock, or which one of these might crawl over. But this is the Wrangler off-road vehicle, and in the Rubicon form, this is going to be the most off-roady form of the Wrangler. This is the top trim, and besides the 392 Rubicons, which come with the V8 from the Scat Pack, but this one right here has a 4-cylinder engine. And I know that you can't order one of these right now because I tried to configure and build one, looked on Reddit. People cannot configure these with the 4-cylinder. Why y'all want the 4-cylinder? Why don't y'all want the Pentastar? Let me know. But this car, I like to give a huge shout out to Jeep for loaning me this for the week. It's been a pleasure to have. And I got to learn a few new Jeep things. But this video is going to be a little bit different than my normal. I'm going to do what it's like to live with this Wrangler, because I've been living with it. It's like a normal, I'm not going off-roading or anything, just a little bit, but not really off-road, not truly off-roading, but I had to do something of Jeep nature. But just from a day-to-day, just living with, I'm going to show you guys what it's like in this video. And before I do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. Let's jump into it. Look at these tires, 315, 70, 17s. And if you're riding behind one of these, you better watch out, because look at all the stuff that gets stuck in the tires. A lot of miscellaneous items. Rocks gonna get flung on behind to the car behind and probably crack a windshield. Look at this, man. All-terrain tires, so watch out. Precaution. Might want to put some mud guards down there so you mitigate the pew that's coming from back there. Pulling up to an ATM. Now this Wrangler is not that wide, because I thought it was much wider than what it is, because sitting in the driver's seat, I can touch the passenger door. But it seems so big and the windshield is kind of small, so it's kind of like, could pose an obstacle, especially with all these poles around. I think I'm good though. It's all in my head. Gonna be looking down at the ATM. This is something. This truck is like as tall as a full-size truck, like a Ram. That's wild for a Wrangler that I'm used to seeing small. But these tires, whoo, got it sitting up high. But let me get my money. Get my money. Yeah, them tires right at the curb. Not a whole lot of change over the years. Same recipe. Off-road, utilitarian vehicle. Does this one even have back seats? Shout out to Twin Peaks for supplying us with this one. So more of the same. This one's a manual. You can also get the one I got in the manual. But yeah, nothing's changed over the last, what, 70 years really? Same old, same old. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I like to live by. I'm out here shopping, so let's talk about the practicality, or the not so practicality, of this Wrangler. So I went to the farmer's market. Make sure you support your local farmers. Everybody says that, it seems like, but it's cheap and I get to know the farmers, so that's cool. But gotta make sure I open this carefully. There's not a whole lot of room. All I've really got back here is fruit, and right there is the back of the back seat. So I only got a few bags of groceries, and I probably smashed something, so it's not very practical. This is probably a soft top that came with the car that they gave me, but not a whole lot of space back here. You can lift the top part up, which adds to, I don't know if you want to stack stuff up like you playing Tetris, but I got to start putting stuff in the back seat. So now to get to the back seat, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. Have to replace a shower rod. If you're not replacing shower rods, I don't know what you're doing, my friend. I'm Mr. Jody, man. Ask about me. Don't ask about me. Don't do that. So I have to put stuff in the back seat back here because it's not that practical. So I got to put this shower rod coming back here, and I'm not even finished. So most of the groceries are going to come in the back seat right here. But let me finish my shopping and we can get on with this. I told y'all this had a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder in here. Some of y'all don't believe me. It's going to make 270 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. And honestly, it drives just fine. Let me pop the hood on y'all as I'm subtly doing. You don't got to mess with any latches on the interior. You just unlatch it. So even if it's locked, you can just unlock somebody's hood. I don't know if that's like a safety concern. Let me use my other hand to push this hood down. And then you just move this lever over to the side. You just pop it open. And that is crazy to me. This is a little lever right here. You gotta move to the right But like I said, got a 4-cylinder turbo. It feels just adequate. It feels very strong. Actually stronger than the V6 Pentastar that I recall because of the torque. That's what you're going to be driving all day, every day is the torque. So it's going to feel just fine. Well, the fuel mileage, you driving this every day, the 4-cylinder is going to be the way to go in theory. So the EPA is going to rate it at 20 in the city, 23 on the highway. But as my elders would say, shit. So what I'm seeing is 16.6 miles per gallon on the computer. That's really low. So what's going to come on this Rubicon? We're going to have all the off-road bits. This is going to be as high as the trim you can get, as I mentioned earlier, and this is going to be the X trim. You got the LED lights, fog lights, got the tow hooks, everything off-road. You got the 35s on the tire, 17-inch wheels. This is the 2-door. They only used to come in 2-door until they came out with the Limiteds that got 4 doors. Now, that's the way I would go because this thing is not practical at all. You get a spare tire, 5th wheel on the back, because who would ride on a donut? Could you imagine the donut on this thing? That would look wild. Let's take a look on the interior, where it's going to be the best that you can get. Going to have leather-wrapped upholstery, leather seats. These are going to be heated seats. The steering wheel is going to be heated as well. Got the nice red stitching, Rubicon in the seats. The back seat as well. Can take the top off. Ooh, y'all nasty. Saw a couple of little cool things up in here. When the door is locked, it has a lock icon right there. It's going to be a ton of Easter eggs all over this car, which I'm not about to point out because there's so many of them. Let me crank it up. Listen to that engine roar. So one thing I don't like, it's going to take a while for it to recognize the Bluetooth or the wireless CarPlay. That's something I don't like. I normally out my driveway by the time it connects. Still connecting right now. But let me talk about some other things while that happens. Gear shifter, can select our drive modes. Got the lockers down here. Window switches are in the dash because the doors come off here. You knew the doors come off here. You know Jeep stuff. Radio finally connected. And Jeep's been parking next to me. I've been parking next to Jeeps. What is up with all the little ducks? Somebody enlighten me, because I know it's like a duck thing. I guess people leave ducks on the Jeep. Somebody let me know what that's all about, because that's wild to me. I think it's pretty cool. It's got a huge following with these Jeeps, highly modifiable, and this is stock, which is shocking. This is crazy. Thankfully, you're going to get features like Home Link. This is the Jeep that has no compromises in it. You can daily drive it, should this be your thing. Got a high red line of like 6,000 RPM. Speed is, I'll show y'all in the driving portion of the video, but it's a nice driver every day. It's got all the features, got a wide screen, touch screen. You got a front camera on here because in case you want to go off-roading. The refresh rate on here is kind of slow, but it does its thing. I wish it took up the whole screen, but it's actually large enough. This is a very wide screen. Don't forget you got a Jeep on here. And even the materials in the dash, nice materials. Outlets down below. Even got an aux port, because these are utilitarian vehicles. And this Jeep is not going to come at a low price. I told y'all this is a top trim Rubicon X. So the total after all the options, which is only like floor mats, is going to be $65,000. A hair under $65,000. These Jeeps can get up to $100,000 in the 2024 model year, because you do have the 392, the Jeep with the Scat Pack engine in the 6.4. And for the final year edition, that can get up to $100,000. Just the base 392 is going to be $92,000. The lesser trims, they can start in the 30, but it's going to be very barbaric in features that you get. The Rubicon is a very nice one to have. So if you want a decently equipped one, I'm going to recommend spending at least $50,000 for one of these. The Willys is a great value. All right, let me show y'all how this get in here, because on the driver's side, you can't get to the back seat. So what we got to do is take this handle. It's going to fold the seat all the way to the front. Go ahead, get in, chicken nugget. And she's going to need help getting in, so I got to lift her in.
Stop. Sorry, Jake.
And then she got ample space sitting behind me, so I'm pretty sure I can sit back there as well. Actually, let me see what it's like getting back here.
Daddy, hey. No.
A little bit of a climb, but we got room in the back seat.
Because you have more space. You just pushed.
So I might need to slide the seat up just a little bit more, but let me get out, which is... If I had one of these, I need some running boards.
What's running boards?
I'm going to slide the seat back.
100 boards.
All right, you go ahead, get in. And we're all good. And on my side, that can't happen because we got power seats, so first time I tried to slide it all the way forward, nobody can get back there, but we got a manual seat on the passenger side. Let's spin a few blocks in the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, two-door that is. Gotta put my leg way up here. I'm getting old, I need some running boards. Window switches in the middle, roll them things up. It's gonna take like 35, 45 seconds for it to connect to my phone, but that's all good. I'm gonna see what this turning radius is gonna be like. I was highly impressed earlier. Let me just show y'all turning radius. This is excellent. This might be on par or better than the Miata. A vehicle this tall or large, making the turning radius is that great, that's amazing. No SUV has ever done a turning radius that great. Moon simulator. That was actually very smooth. That is a very harsh whirl right there. But it's smooth, but it still feels like a truck. It's not as bad as the Tundra or Tacoma. Those make me get a little bit nauseous rolling over these bumps. But the Wrangler, it mitigates it pretty well. It's not bad at all. And it's still a truck, like I said, though. A little bit of bouncing, but nothing too major. Step on it. Turbo 4 with this 8-speed automatic. This ZF, it's got some pep to it. I really like the way it takes off. Definitely doesn't feel slow at all. The Pentastar, you gotta rev it out, but this got the 295 pound-feet of torque, so you definitely gonna feel it in day-to-day driving. The horsepower is pretty good too at 270. Now we about to take it on the handling course. Y'all pray for me. This is about to be a little bit unsettling, because this ain't meant to handle at all. No way, shape, or form is this meant to handle. But we're about to do it anyway, just so you can see how it is, what it's like. You can't get this in the manual too. Very torquey powertrain. But when it comes to these turns, I'm gonna need to slow down, because see how far I had to turn that steering wheel for these lightest inputs? This is an off-road vehicle, folks. Keep that in mind. Off-road vehicle. You gotta do some mighty huge turning inputs. I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna roll this boy over too. No cap. Handling is not his forte. Blinded by the sunlight. Sheesh. This would be the perfect time to let the top off and open the doors, or take the doors off. Steering feel, none. The auto response is quite good though. Seats are very comfortable. They're not the most bolstered, but they actually kind of hold you in quite well, quite nicely for a vehicle of this nature. Visibility out of here, excellent. Minus looking out the rear. We got that back tire, or that tire on the back, kind of takes up a little bit of space out the rear view mirror. Let's listen to the audio. We got the Alpine in here. So this is a vehicle you can drive with the windows down, stereo all the way up. It's going to do a fantastic job. It's got speakers all over the place, in places you've never really seen them before. Like we got them in the heck is this pillar up here called? We got them there. Let's check out the brakes right up here. They closed my road down, y'all. You can just feel all the weight transfer to the nose of the car. That's wild. Let's take off. It gets up to speed quite quickly though. I'm shocked. That's my first time just taking off, pedal to the metal, or the rubber floor mats that we got down there. Option up on here. Let's see what it's like on the expressway. This is one of those vehicles, a lot of the vehicles that I've had on this channel, it's like, dang, let me slow down. I feel like I'm going faster than what I thought. This Wrangler, I've never felt that. It's like, man, am I going too fast? Let me slow it down. Because going like 75 miles an hour, this thing just feels not stable. Especially if you crank it up to like 80 miles an hour. I would not do that, not for long periods of time. If you're passing somebody and bringing it back down, cool. But just holding that at a high speed on the highway, no sir, that does not feel that good to me. It kind of feels unstable at high speeds. We kind of high, we're very high. Like this car, normal Wranglers sit much lower. This, I'm sitting as high as full-size SUVs. I can look at them. I'm taller than some of them even too. This is crazy how high this car sits. That's gonna be why the fuel economy is abysmal, because they said it was 20 on the highway, or 23 highway, 20 in the city, but I'm averaging 16.3. Terrible. And this display in the middle, it does have a lot of information coming on through there, but how many miles have I gotten on this tank of gas? It's not going to be a whole lot of miles that I have gotten. 169.5, and I'm approaching a quarter of a tank. Maybe at my last. It's kind of bad. It's very bad. But yeah, doing like 70, that feels like the right speed. No faster. Yeah, that's where it feels most plenty. I guess the aerodynamics come into play, because this is shaped like a brick. It's like a brick cutting through all this wind. So it's not aerodynamic at all. We need a little bit more curvaceous. This is like a freaking 80-degree angle on this windshield. So this is the box that I'm driving, so aerodynamics is going to play a huge part in it. But what else are people going to compare the Wrangler with? GM got the nothing. GM is just completely missing out on this market. I don't know why they don't have a TRX competitor or a Wrangler competitor. That's what the Blazer should be. Just turned into Blazer lease. That should have been what a Wrangler competitor would be. But Ford, they stepped it up to the plate against Stellantis, Mopar. So they got the Raptor R, which steps up huge to the TRX, and the Wrangler, we got the Bronco. We get the 2-door and 4-door iterations of it. If you got the Bronco, you get a Bronco Raptor, which has over 400 horsepower, or you can get this Wrangler with a V8. I'm choosing the Wrangler. I haven't driven the Bronco yet, but from what I heard is more steady. It has a much better daily driving suspension. I ain't driven one yet. Ford, send me one. Ford, we ain't cool like that yet. I can go to one of the dealerships over here, but I need a little bit more time, because getting used to these radios, I need some time. Just hopping into this. I'm super familiar with Uconnect, but this car is meant for off-road. If you're a poser, this is the right one. If you actually off-road, this is the one that you want to get. If not, a Willys would do it just fine. You get a little bit more serious off-roading than the stock Wrangler, a lower ride height. These 35s are huge. I gotta get in on my tippy toes hopping up in this thing. We got a Buick coming me down on these curves. Hold on now. I know I'm kind of wafty, but ain't that slow, am I? We just taking it around the corners just for shins and giggles, just to see what it's like. Power out that turn. It's got some punch though. Cannot lie about that. And then once you hit on the brakes, you're gonna do a little nosedive. I do not want to be doing no high-speed maneuvers with this. I know on the JLs, the previous, what's the JK or the JL? The JKs, just kidding. No, that's the actual name for it. They had like a little rollover icon on the sun visors. This one don't have that one, but the JLs, whew, they do seem much better. They stepped it up big time with these updates here. But this is gonna be, if you want one of these, I don't know, people buy whatever car for whatever reason. This has a huge community. You might just want to ride high, be in a cool car that you can modify, make it your own. The Wrangler's gonna be perfect for that. Or if you want to do some off-roading, where y'all be off-roading at, man? Let me know, because I need to take one of these trucks, these SUVs, to one of these off-road locations as we doing 60 on the highway. Why these other people doing 60? It didn't even feel like I was going 60. Going slow, and this car does not feel slow. Going 71, as you creep up the speed, it's like, oh man, I can feel like little micro jitters, feel like the car start dancing when you don't want it to. That can be scary. So 75 and below, 80 is gonna feel, whoo, not what you're gonna want to feel. But this week has been interesting with this Wrangler. Definitely huge shout out to Jeep for sending me this, getting my thoughts down on it. My wife, she was looking at one of these, but this iteration is just too tall for her. She does not want a Jeep this big, but they got many other trims that you can get. But that's what it is, living with the Jeep life for a week. It's cool, all the Jeep waves, the quack quacks, all that cool stuff, but it's just a car with a huge following. And yeah, people flavor them up whatever way they like to. I like to see it, man. And this, you can buy it straight out the factory, modify, lift it how you want it to. You don't even got to do all the lifting up kit. You can save some money possibly if you want like a bare bones base model, but I like all the features, the nice upholstery up in here. This is a nice Wrangler to be in day to day. The suspension is not too bad. It's a little bit bouncy, but there's worse out there, so this is definitely tolerable. But make sure you got some stilts, or you a tall human being to get in the car with these 35s on it. That's all I gotta say about that, y'all. So if you got a question, you know what to do, drop a comment. Y'all remember to drive safe out there, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace out.